Welcome back, Chosen One. Today, you are also drawn back by the radiance. Now is the time to pay close attention. Today, I must send an urgent message. Additionally, this message is not intended for everyone. If your heart is not in alignment with truth and you do not follow God's divine path, you will be uncomfortable and eventually leave. However, if you are truly chosen and a sincere follower of God, you will stay because this message was delivered to you at the right time. This was not delivered to you by accident. The divine orchestrated this encounter. The information I'm about to share will change your perception of yourself and how you interpret your experiences. It will give your spirit clarity, peace, and strength. Many of you have already experienced it. People keep eye contact with you for an extended amount of time. Their mouths are closed, but their irises stay fixed. They look at you without saying anything, which makes you wonder why. By the end of this message, you will understand the spiritual reason for that silence and stop doubting your own identity. Please stay with me until the end, as there is a message that will deeply comfort your heart. Additionally, if this strikes a chord with you, please let me know by leaving a comment below 444. This simple action confirms that you are divinely protected and fully aligned with the divine plan for your life. Section 2. The Invisible Mark. Select one reason why your presence disrupts rooms. I would like you to take a moment to collect yourself and listen calmly. It is neither psychological imagination nor the result of chance. Something is imposed on you that cannot be seen by humans. However, it is deeply felt that God leaves an invisible imprint on those he chooses. A mark of assignment, not a sign of superiority or pride. This mark is not audible. It does not make any announcement. It does not require attention. However, it has weight, and the atmosphere changes when weight is introduced into a space. This is why you can enter a location in silence while still feeling the gaze of others on you. I heard no words from you. You didn't do anything unusual, but the room changed when you arrived. People don't always look at you with admiration. Their inner world may be disrupted, leading them to stare at times. They are accustomed to the patterns you disrupt. You unintentionally incorporate order into disorder. You seamlessly incorporate tranquility into the midst of chaos. That is not a skill you have acquired. That is a trait that God instilled in you over time, often through the use of duress, solitude, and silence. Your presence speaks volumes even before you say anything. Something within you has already communicated before you say a single word. Integrity is communicated here. Restraint is conveyed. It communicates profundity. It is unusual for many people to be in the presence of someone who does not let their insecurity spill over into the room. Most people enter spaces expecting to be validated, acknowledged, or approved. They converse quickly. They express themselves. They try to fill the silence because it reveals them. However, you are distinct. You are comfortable remaining inactive, even if you are unaware of it. Anchored status is yours. Additionally, this anchor causes tension in people who lead emotionally unstable lives. This explains why the stare is frequently accompanied by silence. They are attempting to interpret your expressions. They are trying to place you in a category that is understandable to them. However, you do not meet their typical criteria. You are not sufficiently boisterous to be dismissed. You are incapable of ignoring the situation. Your level of familiarity is insufficient to exert control, so they observe. Choose one. This is critical for your recovery. Silence is not an act of condemnation. It is not an act of disrespect. It combines uncertainty and recognition. Your spirit possesses authority that is not subject to permission. In addition, authority causes people to hesitate. It compels them to assess their language. This causes them to be cautious, regardless of whether they are aware of why. There are people who believe you understand more than you disclose and perceive more than you articulate. The mere recognition of this fact can be unsettling. They instinctively slow down when they realize they can't easily read you. They observe. They become silent not because you have threatened them, but because they perceive an aspect of themselves as vulnerable in your presence. Avoid reducing oneself in order to accommodate others. It is not your intention to diminish the obligations that God has placed on you. You are not intended to be diminutive in order to help others relax. The discomfort you cause is not an indication of cruelty. It's a contrast. Light makes no apologies for revealing what darkness attempted to conceal. This invisible mark also captures the attention of those who are spiritually hungry. Some people look at you because they see you as a source of security. They may be unaware of the reason, but your calm demeanor comforts them. Others gaze because they believe they are being judged by their own conscience rather than by you. Furthermore, some people gaze because they see fortitude that does not require validation. You must learn to remain calm in that reality. You are not required to explain your conduct. God created you with purpose. He allowed pressure to refine you. He allowed you to mature through silence. He allowed your misinterpretation to strengthen you. The residue of that process is now carried with you as you enter spaces. Your aggressiveness doesn't make you intimidating. You are unsettling due to your consistency. You are not noticed because of your peculiarity. You are noticed because of your rarity. Many people see stability as an alien concept in a chaotic world. The invisible mark you bear also serves as a safeguard. It creates a barrier without causing animosity. It enforces access restrictions without your intervention. God did not intend for you to be readily available to everyone. Your presence serves as a reminder that people cannot manipulate you, so certain doors remain closed. It is unnecessary for you to fix this. It is not necessary to mitigate it. It is unnecessary to lower your standards or decrease your awareness in order to appear more approachable. God's limitations on you are deliberate. It will attract those who intend to approach while repelling those who do not. So, the next time you see the glances, take a deep breath and remain calm. Refrain from becoming agitated. Refrain from questioning yourself. Do not rush to fill the silence. Allow them to observe. Allow them to feel whatever emotions arise within them. Managing their reactions is not your responsibility. It is your responsibility to keep alignment. Section 3. In the event that spirit recognizes spirit, while terror remains silent. Selected. This is the section where many misconceptions are finally cleared up, so I recommend that you breathe slowly while listening. Confusion is not the cause of every stare you get. Some stem from recognition, which, when combined with dread, often results in silence. Spirit recognizes spirit before the mind can elucidate it. Language is not necessary for this recognition. It is unnecessary to include a preface. It takes place quietly, profoundly, and instantly. Even if they can't explain why you're different, some people can tell you're not like them. This moment of awareness prompts a pause. Numerous people live in a state of reaction rather than discernment. As a result, they become paralyzed when they encounter an unexpected sensation that they are unable to understand or control. Those pauses frequently result in silence. They are fixated on the object because their spirit has recognized it, but their consciousness has not yet classified it. I want you to understand this matter precisely. When spirit recognizes spirit, intellect moves aside. It is not awaiting approval. It's simply awareness. In those who are not spiritually mature, knowledge without comprehension causes hesitation. They have no idea why they feel so devoted. They perceive authority but are unable to recognize it. They are aware of weight, but do not have a reference point for it. This explains why certain people become anxious in your presence for no apparent reason. Your actions and statements are irrelevant. The frequency conveyed is of primary concern. Your spirit operates on a different level than theirs, which disrupts their usual patterns of engagement. If this is currently clear to you, please take a moment to express your agreement. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future messages tailored to people like you. Fear is also present in this situation. Dread of exposure rather than fear of harm. Individuals who conceal their identities perceive what you see through facades. Individuals who rely on manipulation perceive you as uncontrollable. Individuals who avoid confronting the truth believe that you naturally embody it, causing an internal unease that is expressed through silence. It is likely that you have noticed this pattern. Some people are drawn to you, while others withdraw without explanation. Individuals who draw back are not necessarily your adversaries. They simply do not align. Their spirit understands the requirements of your presence, which include honesty, integrity, and profundity. However, they are not yet ready for that level of involvement. Allow me to speak gently to your emotions in this situation. You are not responsible for providing comfort to those who are distressed as a result of the truth. There is no need to diminish oneself in order to help others feel more significant. God gave you a spiritual frequency for a specific purpose, which includes disrupting comfort zones that have become prisons. When spirit recognizes spirit, the intention is revealed as well. Some people remain silent because they know their intentions will not stand up to scrutiny. Some people remain silent while strategically planning their approach to you. Individuals who remain silent are wondering if you are as composed as you appear. Silence becomes a test, which you pass by remaining calm, chosen. It is critical that you release the obligation to interpret every glance. You must abandon the need to justify each moment of silence. Your analysis isn't necessary in every situation. Certain circumstances simply indicate that God has bestowed upon you an attribute that others perceive but cannot fully comprehend. This is enough. This recognition also works in reverse. There are people whose spirits are easily identifiable. You either feel instantly at ease with them or experience apprehension for no apparent reason. That is the expression of your essence. Have faith in it. Do not replace it with logical reasoning. Do not dismiss it solely because you want to be compassionate. Discipline is not unkind. It functions as a safeguard. Understanding spiritual recognition changes everything. It implies that you aren't hallucinating the tension you feel in specific rooms. When you suspect that someone is not being sincere, you are not being paranoid. No, you are not overthinking when you withdraw from someone who appears to be friendly. Your spirit interprets frequencies that your mind has not yet translated into language. Numerous chosen individuals have been duped into doubting their own discernment. People accused you of being judgmental, when in fact you were being discerning. They accused you of being cold when in reality you were exercising caution. They convinced you that setting boundaries was callous, despite the fact that it is the most benevolent thing you can do for yourself and others. However, you must remember the following. It is not a flaw that you can see what others cannot. It is a feature. It is an essential part of your spiritual makeup. And the more you respect it rather than rationalize it, the stronger it will become. When spirit is recognized, it bypasses all of the commotion and goes directly to the truth. The truth is what liberates you. I'd like you to temporarily change your perspective. The silence you have misinterpreted as an act of aggression is actually an act of kindness. God uses the silence of others to impart teachings that would be impossible to obtain any other way. Silence promotes self-reliance. When you are not validated by others, you stop seeking external validation. When people fail to explain their beliefs, you stop trying to change them. When people do not participate, you learn to be satisfied without their input. Silence eliminates the need for approval and forces you to rely on your own spiritual strength. A significant number of you were raised to believe that silence is a sign of an issue. You were told that if people do not speak, it is likely that you have done something to offend them. You were instructed to fill vacant spaces with performances, explanations, or apologies. However, God is using this season to disrupt that conditioning. Silence, too, imparts discernment. When you're not preoccupied with constant conversation, you can start to notice patterns. You notice people who approach with sincere intentions. You notice that they are only present when they need something. You can see who respects boundaries and who pushes them. Silence allows for uninterrupted observation. I want to make sure you understand this information with confidence. Silence does not constitute punishment. It is the process of preparing. God is preparing you to have influence without being influenced. He is teaching you how to walk with authority without the need for constant reinforcement. He is teaching you to be content in solitude in order to avoid feeling desperate in a community. A level of maturity that can only be gained through solitude is present. When you stop expecting others to speak, you will be able to hear God more clearly. When you stop filling every gap with noise, you start to notice the information that the noise was previously concealing. When one stops working for approval, he or she begins working for a specific reason. Boost. Furthermore, silence has bestowed upon you an empowering realization. It has revealed who is truly on your side. Your people are those who remained present despite your silence, did not require explanations, and respected your process without needing to understand it. The rest was obscured by silence. I'll speak this at a moderate pace to ensure that it's understood. The silence that is currently surrounding you is preparing the way for the appropriate voices to emerge at a later date. God is clearing the space. He eliminates distractions. He is protecting you from premature connections that could impede the growth he is encouraging in you. The power you have without being aware of it. Chosen one, there is a fundamental aspect of your nature that you must understand. You did not earn the authority you have. It is an entity that was implanted within you and has quietly developed without your knowledge. This is why people respond to you before you speak. This is why your mere presence has the potential to change the atmosphere. Not all forms of power are readily apparent. In reality, true power rarely does. Volume is unnecessary. Validation is unnecessary. It simply exists, and that is enough to elicit a sensation. Many of you were unaware that you were carrying this quietly until others started to notice. The glances you get aren't always prompted by curiosity. They occasionally discuss evaluation. Individuals make subconscious assessments about whether you are perceived as a threat or an ally, whether you will test or boost their level of confidence, whether you can be managed or operate autonomously. Furthermore, all of this occurs before the exchange of a single remark. I'd like you to consider this reality. You compel people to reconsider their actions. You encourage people to reconsider their approaches. You introduce people to new methods of self-awareness. That is not hubris. That is the result of introducing something genuine into a world filled with pretense. Restraint is also a source of power. You do not have to provide any evidence. You are not required to constantly defend yourself. Also, it is unnecessary to justify your decisions to people who will not understand them in the first place. Your ability to exercise restraint sets you apart from those who wield power without possessing it. One that has been selected. Many of you have expressed concerns about your own fortitude. You were told that your authority makes you intimidating. You were told that confidence is a sign of arrogance. You were taught to contract in order to allow others to grow. However, God is dismantling that deception. It is not intended that your power be concealed. Stewardship is intended. This is the point at which many selected individuals face difficulties. You diminish God's amplification in order to avoid causing discomfort to others. You try to blend in with the crowd in order to avoid being noticed. You are afraid to appear arrogant, so you downplay the value of your possessions. However, none of this benefits the kingdom. Its sole purpose is to create dread. I'd like to be crystal clear. Your power is not intended to be used to dominate others. This is for the purpose of delivery. It is not for the purpose of control. Its purpose is to provide coverage. It is not meant for display. Its purpose is utilitarian. However, one cannot effectively serve if they constantly apologize for their bravery. There will always be people who question your authority. Certain people will commemorate it. It may cause anxiety for some people. Certain people will try to diminish it. It is not your responsibility to control their responses. It is your responsibility to stay faithful to the responsibilities that God has given you. Section 6. This is why you are not required to provide an explanation to anyone. Chosen one. I'd like to address the aspect of you that feels compelled to explain. The component that feels remorse when others misinterpret your actions. The component that aims to explain, justify, and defend your decisions. I require you to immediately relieve that burden. You are under no obligation to explain the course of God's action in your life. You do not have to give anyone access to your process. You do not have to give anyone a detailed explanation of your decisions. Certain matters are meant to remain between you and God. Furthermore, that boundary is considered sacred. Many of you have been trained to believe that silence equals secrecy, and secrecy equals shame. As a result, your explanation goes beyond what is necessary. You provide an excessive amount of information. People who do not have the right to access your inner world are given information. And each time you do so, you undermine the boundaries that God has instructed you to set. Withholding is not synonymous with silence. Silence acts as an effective safeguard. It protects your tranquility from unnecessary opinions. It protects your vision from being unfairly criticized. It protects your energy from those who want to argue over what God has already confirmed. I want you to understand a significant concept. When you stop providing explanations, people stop feeling entitled to them. People stop criticizing you once you stop defending your decisions. People stop withholding approval as a form of leverage when you stop asking for it. This does not mean you become distant or cold. It implies the development of discernment. You disclose information to people who have proven their trustworthiness. You are more open with those who value the information you share. Chosen one, you provide an explanation to those who genuinely want comprehension rather than ammunition. Allowing people to ponder is a form of liberation. Leaving curiosity unsatisfied is a powerful force. Prudence dictates that certain matters should be kept until the appropriate time. Jesus said, "Do not cast your pearls before swine." Some revelations are not intended for public consumption. Even if you don't provide an explanation, those who are supposed to accompany you will understand. Even if they don't see the whole picture, those who want to help you will believe in your process. Individuals who agree with your assignment will respect your boundaries without requesting access. And this is the most stunning part. By ceasing to explain, you stop exhausting yourself. Your energy is no longer wasted on pointless conversations. You stop repeating your message to people who are never going to understand it. You regain your tranquility. As a result, the next time someone looks at you silently, resist the urge to fill the void. Allow them to be inquisitive. Allow them to work through their confusion. Allow them to ponder. It is unnecessary to ensure that your communication is understood by all individuals. Your only obligation is to obey God. Section 7. The transition is approaching. They plan to change their speech in the near future. One that has been selected. I want you to listen to this section with a peaceful heart, because it is here that hope replaces tension. Your current state of silence is not permanent. It is seasonal, and each season God creates has an expiration date. A change is on the way, and you can already see it creeping up beneath the surface. Individuals who previously observed you without speaking will not always remain silent. The distinction is that you will not change your identity. The distinction is that God will complete the development He has been fostering within you, and uncertainty will be replaced with clarity. Currently, many people are unsure how to address you because they do not understand your situation. They perceive potential, depth, and direction, but they have not fully realized these qualities in a visible way. People speak confidently about their ability to define. They maintain their silence regarding the ongoing events. However, unfolding is never truly concealed. There is a moment when the quiet strength you have carried begins to produce visible fruit, when consistency becomes undeniable, and when preparation becomes evident. The tone of the interaction changes as a result. Individuals who were previously cautious will now begin to speak respectfully. Individuals who previously maintained a distance will now approach with inquiries. Individuals who previously underestimated their abilities will adjust their language. Not due to your demand, but rather due to the maturation of the truth. Tool. Chosen one, this is the method by which God safeguards you from premature praise and premature criticism. The opinions of others would influence you if they were expressed prematurely. You would be discouraged if they made a premature judgment. While God completes His work, silence ensures your freedom. There is a profound therapeutic aspect to this that I would like you to comprehend. The current silence you are experiencing is indicative of the fact that your life is not yet entirely comprehensible to others. Additionally, that is a gift. It is still being written by God. So that the narrative remains uninterrupted, interruptions are minimalized. Numerous of you are in closer proximity to recognition than you are aware. However, recognition does not initially manifest in a loud manner. It manifests in the form of subtle changes such as a shift in the manner in which individuals perceive and address you. A moment of silence precedes their speech, not out of fear, but rather out of respect. This is the moment at which silence undergoes a transformation. The silence that was previously uncomfortable is now characterized by attentiveness. Additionally, I encourage you to acknowledge the onset of this transformation in your personal life. Comment 444 below to inform the universe that you are prepared to enter this new season with divine alignment, confidence, and clarity. You will recognize that this transition has occurred when you no longer feel the necessity to interpret reactions, when peace replaces analysis, and when you cease to be concerned with others' opinions because they no longer dictate your own. Chaos is not elevated by God. He fosters stability, which necessitates time to evaluate. As clarity increases, those who were never intended to accompany you will gradually disperse. Individuals who are in agreement will naturally advance. You will not be required to recruit them. Encounters will be orchestrated by God. This is also the point at which humility must protect your heart. Do not allow pride to supplant tranquility when individuals begin to communicate differently. The objective is not to be acknowledged. Alignment is the same as recognition. It is merely the result of consistent obedience. Several of you will observe that individuals who previously disregarded your opinions are now seeking your input. Some individuals who previously spoke over you now listen quietly. Some individuals who previously avoided you are now inquiring about your perspective. The purpose of that transition is not to establish superiority. It pertains to the acquisition of credibility through consistent performance. Do not attempt to expedite the shift. Do not attempt to initiate a conversation. Refrain from disclosing your expansion. Allow it to emerge organically. God is aware of the precise moment at which visibility is secure. As the chosen one, this forthcoming season will be more relaxed. Not because life becomes simpler, but rather because your internal world becomes more stable. You will speak when it is necessary, remain silent when it is wise, and move without anxiety. The amount of staring will decrease. The confusion will settle, and the silence will transform into clarity. Moreover, the outcome will be distinct when individuals finally speak. They will alter their demeanor. Their stance will undergo a transformation. Respect will be communicated through their words. Even if they don't understand your point of view, this is when you'll have a profound realization. The silence was never meant to cause self-doubt. It was intended to prepare you for the responsibility of being heard. Be patient. Maintain your alignment. Maintain your composure. The transition is approaching. And when it does, you will recognize it by its tranquility rather than its noise. Section 8. In summary, continue to be stationary. The rest is being handled by God, one that has been selected. Allow your thoughts to pause here for a moment. Everything you are currently experiencing has a divine purpose, as well as a name. Individuals look at you silently, not because you are deficient, unique, or failing. They stare because there is something within you that is heavy, and weight always causes a room to slow down. You were never meant to pursue words from people who are attempting to understand themselves. God allowed silence to surround you so that your spirit could grow without distraction. He allowed observations without explanation. As a result, you would develop inner authority, self-control, and stability. Nothing was wasted. Please keep this information. You're not late. You're not lagging. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared. And preparation can appear quiet to the outside world. You don't have to change who you are to be accepted. You don't have to explain what God is doing in you. You don't have to respond to every stare or fill every silence. Your assignment is now simple. Maintain your alignment. Maintain your composure. Continue to be stationary. God is handling conversations that you are not supposed to have yet. God is closing mouths that would speak prematurely. God is keeping you safe from noises that would disrupt your peace. You can trust that. Before we conclude, chosen ones, if this message spoke to your spirit, I would like you to do something for me. Please like this video so that it can reach other chosen ones who need to hear it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you never miss a message tailored to your journey. Tool. Share this with someone you know who could use some clarity today. Finally, comment 444 below serves as a declaration. A declaration that you are divinely protected, spiritually aligned, and walking calmly through your assignment. Let that number serve as a signal to both the universe and yourself that you are ready to embrace who God created you to be without apology. Stay still, chosen one. God is accomplishing more than you can see. The silence does not indicate rejection. It is a redirection. The stares are not judgmental. They represent recognition. And the shift you've been waiting for is already underway. Walk with peace. Walk with power. Walk with purpose. You are exactly where you should be together. We ascend toward the light.
Chosen one, the light has led you back to me. Please listen carefully, as this is not one of those messages you can simply scroll past without thinking about. The information you are about to hear is significant for a reason, and it requires your full attention. The majority of people go through life believing that they are aware of their identity, assuming that their personality, preferences, and self-awareness are completely genuine. However, that identity is primarily manufactured, fragmented, and incomplete. You've been living in a version of yourself that has been shaped by others' expectations, social conditioning, and survival strategies. Every mask you wear, every role you play, and every version of yourself that you present to the world has been painstakingly crafted over years of compromise and adjustment. However, identity does not work the same way in the spiritual realm. There, your identity is not defined by your job, relationships, or the stories you tell yourself. It is distinguished by spiritual function, accumulated history over multiple lifetimes, and energy. Your true identity transcends the limitations of your current physical existence. It carries the weight of experiences you don't recall, abilities you appear to have without training, and instincts that guide you in ways that logic cannot explain. Furthermore, that identity exists regardless of whether you are aware of it or not. It has always existed, hidden beneath the surface of your consciousness. The significance of this moment is that something is rising from beneath the surface of your awareness. You may have noticed it already: heightened restlessness, a sense that the life you've built isn't quite right, and an increasing inability to tolerate situations that were once considered normal. Life accelerates in unsettling ways as a person approaches recognition of their true spiritual origin. The collapse of antiquated structures begins. Previously stable relationships are now experiencing cognitive dissonance. Career paths that appeared secure begin to feel hollow and devoid of meaning. Your tolerance for superficiality is virtually non-existent. You discover that you are incapable of engaging in superficial conversations or maintaining relationships that lack authenticity and depth. It is possible to feel a vague sense of pressure, as if something is requiring your attention from outside your conscious awareness. It manifests as anxiety without a clear cause, urgency without a deadline, or a desire for something difficult to define. It may appear chaotic, but this is not the case. This is an example of exposure. It is the result of the false identity you have been operating under, which no longer carries the same weight as your true self. The container you built to survive in this world is fracturing, and what emerges from the cracks is far more powerful and authentic than the image you've been projecting to the world. Most people are never educated on this subject. Memory loss is not an accident. Consciousness does not forget at random when it enters physical life. It preserves knowledge for protection and timing. These are more than just personality quirks. They are your instincts, an unexplained attraction to specific concepts, and a reluctance to follow traditional life paths. They are fragments of a larger identity that are attempting to assert itself once more. Recognition occurs in the spiritual realm before comprehension in the human mind. That is why you may feel recognized by circumstances, challenged in specific ways, or compelled to learn something that appears both unfamiliar and strangely obvious. If this has resonated with you so far, please let me know in the comments. I'm curious if you've felt these unexplained pulls or witnessed the collapse of old structures in your personal life. You have spent your entire life staring at your reflection, convinced that the person looking back is the real you. However, the facts are as follows. The majority of the terminology you use to describe yourself is a complex construct influenced by societal norms, family dynamics, media, and personal experiences that only partially reflect the true essence of who you are. The mirror reflects a recognizable face. However, that appearance is only an outline of your true self. You are the bearer of inherited roles, adopted fears, and habits that were never truly your own. This illusion has been reinforced by every decision you have made and compromise you have accepted. The shocking truth is that the person you see as yourself is only scratching the surface of your true spiritual being. Imagine walking through a room where everyone knows personal information about you that you have never disclosed. That is spiritual perception. It does not recognize the labels you've given to yourself, your curated personality, or your constructed ego. It discerns profound truths about your soul, karmic imprints, and energy patterns that you may never have faced. The purpose of this is not to instill fear. It is designed to arouse you. When you realize that the mirror is deceptive, you gain the ability to stop being defined by illusions and start seeing yourself as you really are. Accepting the uncomfortable fact that one does not have a complete understanding of oneself is the first step toward awakening. Just so. It is analogous to removing a bandage that has been applied to a wound for decades. It produces a burning sensation, but it also promotes true healing and transformation. Clarity is the result of this painful awakening, the kind of clarity that gives you control over your life, decisions, and destiny. The journey of discovering the depth, power, and authentic identity that has always been waiting for you can begin when you realize that the reflection you have been staring at is incomplete. Your conscious mind may forget, but your soul retains all information. Every life you've lived, every experience you've had, and every decision you've made has left an imprint, a subtle yet permanent record that is shaping your current reality in ways you can only begin to understand. The Akashic Records, also known as the soul's personal archive, are the energy field of your being that stores memories of previous lives rather than the physical brain. You frequently dismiss the spiritual realm guide's whispers as intuition or coincidence, despite the fact that they warn you and illuminate paths. It's as if the universe keeps meticulous track of your soul's ascent through time. Every triumph, failure, and lesson learned or ignored is recorded there. Even if you consciously disregard these records, your soul directs you to the lessons you are meant to learn, the situations you must resolve, and the growth you cannot avoid. The more you resist, the stronger the nudges become, resulting in recurring patterns, repeated relationships, or situations that feel strangely familiar despite being completely new. This understanding begins to shed light on the peculiar situations that the majority of people face, but few conduct a thorough examination. Déjà vu is not a glitch in the matrix. Your soul is acknowledging a previous experience, whether in this life or another. Echoes of past traumas that your soul still carries are frequently the source of unexplained fears unrelated to your current life experiences. Inexplicable talents, or abilities that appear to emerge naturally without training or practice, indicate that you have acquired knowledge and skills in previous lives. These aren't random events or coincidences. They are fragments of your soul's memory that have passed through the veil of forgetfulness. Individuals frequently disregard these warning signs, blaming them on psychological quirks or an overactive imagination. However, the patterns are far too consistent and precise to be considered random. Your soul remembers the victories that boosted your confidence, the setbacks that taught you humility, and the consequences of decisions that influenced its evolutionary path. Consider the profound realization of standing on the shoulders of many lifetimes, rather than just one. Your spiritual memory contains a vast library of accumulated wisdom, hard-earned lessons, refined skills, and critical warnings. By learning to listen to these whispers, you will gain access to guidance that your rational mind, which is limited by the experiences of this lifetime, may never discover on its own. This allows you to make decisions based on your soul's long-term growth and ultimate destiny, rather than just short-term survival or social acceptance. You begin to understand why certain paths feel right despite their illogicity, why certain people elicit specific responses from you, and why certain opportunities arise at the perfect time. Darkness is a concept that most people fear, suppress, or deny. However, the aspects of yourself that you've hidden, such as your anger, desire, secrets, and raw impulses, are not flaws. They are the foundational element of your authority. The shadow self isn't a monster. It is the raw gold of your authentic self, waiting to be discovered and utilized. When you reject it, it works in the background, influencing your behavior in ways you are not aware of. The first step in reclaiming oneself is to recognize that the characteristics that cause the most fear reveal one's greatest strengths. Consider the most influential people in history, those who have significantly influenced the course of nations, industries, or minds. They were successful not because they ignored their darkness, but because they understood, controlled, and directed it toward creation. Your shadow self is your personal power source, a raw energy that once refined becomes unstoppable. Fear is transformed into mastery, pain into insight, and frustration into motivation when confronted without judgment. The shadow is not your adversary. It's a compass that guides you to the depths of your true self. This procedure is not straightforward. Brutal honesty and courage are required. You will encounter truths that challenge your moral compass, desires that surprise you, and impulses that make you uncomfortable. However, the reward is freedom from societal expectations and self-denial. Your shadow holds the map to your untapped potential, your most creative self, and your ability to influence the world in ways you never imagined. By ignoring it, you remain small. By accepting it, you are transported into the realm of the extraordinary. If you're still with me, please like this video. It makes it easier for more people to discover this message and confirms that the intended audience is receiving it. Every action you take has an effect, not only on your immediate surroundings, but also on the intricate network of energy that connects all life. These are your karmic signatures, or energetic fingerprints, which reflect your actions, intentions, and unresolved patterns over time. In popular culture, karma is frequently misinterpreted. It is not a punishment imposed by an angry universe that is keeping track of your wrongdoing. It's feedback. The universe is holding up a mirror to reveal the areas that need to be addressed, the patterns that need to be changed, and the lessons that need to be learned or released. Each action causes a ripple in the energetic field of reality. Every decision, word, and thought generates energy that eventually returns to you, not as a form of reward or punishment, but as information, similar to a boomerang you threw years ago that is now returning. These energetic echoes allow you to respond differently and demonstrate the consequences of your previous decisions. Understanding this fundamental law significantly alters how you navigate the world. You start to realize that nothing happens to you at random. Everything is linked to an action you initiated, whether in this life or in previous ones. You gain significant control over karma when you see it as a system of balance and learning rather than divine judgment. You stop reacting to life's challenges unconsciously and start responding with a specific intention. You are aware of the patterns that repeat in your life, such as the same types of relationships ending in the same way, the same financial difficulties arising under different circumstances, and the same health issues recurring. But these occurrences are not viewed as bad luck or coincidences, but rather as opportunities to learn, heal old wounds, correct course, or finally master a lesson that your soul has worked on for lifetimes. This awareness allows you to consciously change your trajectory. It is possible to avoid repeating the same results by identifying patterns before they manifest completely. Making alternative decisions allows you to intentionally create a future that aligns with your highest potential. Currently, your karmic signatures are neither permanent nor fixed. They develop in tandem with your progress. You have the ability to rewrite them, clear old debts, create new patterns, and align with higher frequencies of existence at any time. Furthermore, the people you meet during your life are not at random. They manifest as messages, lessons, or reflections that are precisely aligned with your current spiritual frequency and karmic requirements. Certain people present challenges that motivate you to go beyond your comfort zone. During difficult transitions, others provide the necessary support and comfort. Some of them serve as reminders of your abilities and identity, while others act as catalysts for the healing of old wounds. These are soul contracts, agreements made beyond conscious awareness before your physical life began. Soul contracts exist to help you evolve, accelerate your growth, or remember why you were born. They're not always enjoyable. In fact, some of the most significant soul contracts involve people who cause you pain, betray you, or present you with impossible challenges at the time. However, these difficult contracts often contain the most profound lessons and opportunities for personal growth. Recognizing soul contracts changes how one interprets each relationship in one's life. Conflict is no longer a simple matter of avoiding or winning. Friction is frequently required to bring you to a state of clarity and strength. Loss and separation are not inherently tragic events. Occasionally, they are the natural conclusion of a contract that has served its purpose. Even brief encounters, a stranger who says exactly what you needed to hear, or a chance meeting that changes the course of your life can be profoundly meaningful if they provide the exact lesson you require at that precise moment in your evolution. You are surrounded by spiritual mirrors, who reflect aspects of yourself that you need to see, understand, integrate, or let go of. The behaviors you find most irritating in others often indicate unresolved issues within yourself. The qualities you admire in others are usually latent potentials within you waiting to be activated. Understanding this concept removes the sense of randomness, injustice, or meaninglessness that comes with relationships. You begin to see the intelligence and purpose that underpin each connection, the divine orchestration that supports each encounter, and the lessons that are ingrained in each interaction. Understanding this concept eliminates the sense of randomness and injustice that is inherent in relationships. You start to understand the intelligence and purpose behind each interaction. This does not imply that you will continue to engage in toxic behaviors or tolerate harm. It implies that you learn the lesson, follow the contract, and proceed with clarity. The goal of soul contracts is not to endure suffering. They refer to evolution. Once you have acquired the desired knowledge, the contract dissolves and new alignments emerge. Life consistently indicates when you are ready to move forward. Move home. Subtle patterns, recurring coincidences, and intuitive nudges are like breadcrumbs deposited by the universe to guide you to the next level. These indicators are often overlooked. They are persistent, despite being whispered rather than shouted. Neglecting them means remaining trapped by outdated constraints. Identifying them grants access to extraordinary growth, latent strengths, and untapped capabilities that the vast majority of people never have. These indicators can be demonstrated using a variety of methods. Sudden clarity in decision-making, meeting someone who represents your untapped potential, or feeling an inexplicable rush of excitement when faced with a challenge. Growth is rarely announced in a polite manner, so it often manifests as discomfort, uncertainty, or risk. These subtle hints are messages from your higher self that encourage you to align with your true capabilities. Paying attention transforms life from chaos into a guided, unfolding, and revealing path that was previously hidden in plain sight. Recognizing these signals has profound implications. Recognizing your unfolding potential inspires confidence, courage, and a sense of inevitability. You begin to see yourself as a dynamic entity that is constantly in motion, rather than a static person. Recognizing your growth potential strengthens your ability to act decisively, embrace challenges, and navigate life with clarity and purpose. The universe becomes a co-conspirator in your ascension, highlighting the path to the version of yourself that has always existed in higher realms. In our comfort-oriented culture, pain, fear, and crisis are frequently viewed as obstacles that must be overcome at all costs. Nonetheless, they are among the most effective catalysts for spiritual development available to humans. When circumstances strip away everything you thought defined you, when life pushes you to the brink, and your comfort zones are shattered beyond repair, something profound happens. The truths and shadows you have skillfully ignored and avoided rise to the surface with undeniable force, necessitating an immediate confrontation. These are uncomfortable moments. They are occasionally extremely painful. They challenge the very foundation of your self-perception. However, they are catalysts designed by the universe and your higher self to eliminate complacency, false identities, and the comfortable illusions you have been maintaining. The depth of the darkness you encounter increases the opportunity for transformation even more. This isn't philosophical solace. This is spiritual mechanics. People who avoid pain, distract themselves, and refuse to face their shadows are spiritually small. They may accumulate possessions, maintain appearances, and achieve external success, but they are unable to tap into the depths of power that are available to them. Individuals who confront the darkness directly, walk through the fire rather than around it, and allow themselves to be broken open by crisis will emerge stronger, wiser, and significantly more aligned with their true spiritual nature. Consider historical figures who overcame adversity to achieve world-changing success. Inventors who made major breakthroughs after catastrophic failures. Warriors who discovered unwavering courage only after facing their deepest fears. The most powerful visions of leaders emerged from their darkest hours. Their suffering fueled an unprecedented amount of innovation. Their fear was transformed into unwavering determination. They were unaware of their hidden strengths and abilities until their difficulties arose. Your personal crises operate in exactly the same way. Regardless of the scale, they reveal the weaknesses you've been avoiding, compelling you to develop new strengths. They reveal previously untapped resources within you, which only emerge under extreme pressure. They compel you to make decisions that will shape your spiritual path for years or even lifetimes to come. Every crisis involves a crossroads. There are two options: break under pressure or break through to a new level of awareness and capability. Embracing the discomfort rather than resisting it, and leaning into the pain rather than fleeing it, allows you to tap into reservoirs of power and insight that are dormant during times of comfort. The shadow catalyst is not an act of vengeance from an angry universe. This is an invitation to mastery extended by your higher self. Every fear that is confronted builds courage. Every honest examination of a wound yields wisdom. Every fully processed loss includes strength. These aren't illusions. This is the actual mechanism underlying spiritual evolution. Pain teaches you to believe in your own strength, to recognize that you can survive and even thrive in the face of experiences that you once thought would destroy you. Fear teaches you to navigate uncertainty with grace, to move forward despite a lack of clarity, and to act in the absence of guarantees. Crisis teaches you to respond with clarity rather than reaction, to make decisions from your core rather than your panic, and to recognize opportunities hidden within disasters. When you learn to consciously use these dark experiences, when you stop viewing them as obstacles and instead see them as catalysts, they accelerate your progress at a rate that outpaces years of comfortable spiritual practice. They reveal a version of yourself that can navigate both the visible and invisible aspects of life with genuine skill and authority. This isn't about glorifying or seeking pain. It entails acknowledging that pain is an unavoidable experience for all people, and that you have the ability to choose how you react to it. At some point along this journey, the pursuit of answers becomes profoundly personal rather than purely intellectual. Curiosity, which may have stemmed from a book, video, or conversation, leads to a direct confrontation with oneself. You realize that awakening isn't about learning and memorizing spiritual concepts or adopting new philosophies like trophies. It is about the difficult, sometimes painful process of unlearning the person you were taught to be and confronting your true self, which lies beneath all of the conditioning. Initially, the carefully crafted deceptions fall gradually. A single belief system has been compromised. One relationship is revealed to be inauthentic. One career path seems to be devoid of purpose. After that, the pace quickens. The illusions collapse rapidly and all at once, like a house of cards collapsing. And once they do, there is no going back to the comfortable ignorance in which you previously lived. You have an alternative perspective on life. The colors seem to be more vivid. Lies are easily discernible. Individuals experience different emotions. You can sense their energy, authenticity or lack thereof, and alignment or misalignment with their own truth. Even silence is audible, conveying information that was previously overlooked. Change affects you, not the world. This internal shift fundamentally alters your perception of reality. This journey was never supposed to be comfortable, and it isn't. Reassurance does not accompany growth. It's accompanied by disruption. However, intelligence exists in every breakdown, moment of confusion, and dark night of the soul. Nothing was wasted. There were no arbitrary elements. Each experience was preparing you for a version of yourself that operates beyond fear, limitation, and the world's shallow identities, by shaping your awareness and sharpening your perception. This is the only truth that should be preserved. Awakening does not provide an escape from life. It is a complete commitment to it, marked by clarity, intention, and power. You do not achieve perfection. Instead, you awaken. Furthermore, that consciousness is irreversible. The universe is no longer seen as distant or hostile. It appears to be responsive. And once you understand this, you stop asking about your intended identity and instead start determining your own. If you are aware that your genuine restraint has impressed heaven enough to activate protection around your identity, please leave 777 in the comments to increase the frequency of celestial recognition. So, to learn more about how your authentic essence creates miracles in higher dimensions that manifest as blessings in your earthly existence, subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. Share this video with someone who also demonstrates dignity and restraint, as they may be attracting angelic recognition without their knowledge. This is necessary for chosen souls to recognize and support one another. And before you leave, watch the video that appears on your screen to learn how your newly activated celestial protection attracts opportunities that appear to be tailor-made for you. We all ascend toward the light.